All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Tipple's Brews and Wine virtual wine tasting, the wine of the week with Elizabeth and Jeff Vaudreuil,
Hi.
owners of Tipple's Brews and Wine in Gainesville, Florida. Let's get started. So this week, we are going to be, it's White Wine Week. All right.
I'm so excited.
This week, we're drinking the Minor family. This is a cool story. Viognier.
Okay.
So we're going with a different one, often a blending grape, but this is one, how I love to do that.
That's right. Okay.
I love to pull out individual grapes so we can see what they're all about. So a Viognier from Paso, Robles, California. Back to Paso. That's where we were last week, right? Yep. So if you've not already done so, it's time to crack that bottle. And by crack, I do mean the wonderful Stelvin enclosure crack. I like to chill mine down to, a good hour in the fridge will get you down to about 40 degrees, 32, 34, which is normal. Like if you leave it there overnight, it's going to be a little chilly. It will warm up. And as it warms up, you will get more of the flavors and aromas.
32 would be quite chilly. We're going to lick a popsicle?
It won't happen because of the alcohol.
It won't at all?
No.
Okay.
I mean, no, it will.
Okay.
But not at 32.
Not at 32.
Right.
Okay.
So let's get you a beverage.
All right. Thank you. It's very pretty.
Right?
Yeah, it looks like what, Pinot Grigio?
Well, it's light and honey colored.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like Chardonnay is darker than this.
By the way, before you get in there, have you smelled the wine? No, like from here.
Oh, yeah.
Because like as soon as I'm pouring, that is a big part of this wine. It's highly aromatic. So I just wanted to point that out, that as you know, I'm over here pouring at arm's length because you guys might not be able to see the depth because of the camera, but it was a long way away from us and the aromas were just pouring out of the glass. Part of that is the beautiful Riedel glasses too.
Smell a little honey on the nose? Really?
So combined with floral would make it honeysuckle. All right, but I love the call that you're jumping in. But before we get into talking about what we're smelling and tasting, let's introduce the wine, please.
Okay.
Here comes the rest of the crew. I knew you were coming.
Every once in a while, I should make you do this just to keep up your skills so that if I'm not here.
I mean, you're not wrong because you really are.
There will be a week in November when I am not here. So
that's right. All right. So the Minor family Viognier. All right. This guy's from Paso. Minor family wines are actually from Napa.
Okay.
We'll talk about why is this from Paso, right? Food pairings. This is a richer kind of big white.
Okay.
Right. So buttered poached salmon, pad thai, Moroccan vegetable tagine, chicken tikka marsala. So it can handle spice. So like last week we had a big red that can handle spice because of its qualities, right? Now we have a big white that can handle spice, which is kind of fun.
So, and we are having eggplant parmigiana
with hot Italian sausage.
Okay.
But it's Italian turkey sausage.
Right.
So so whether it was turkey or pork, both would work. White meats.
Okay. Right. Yeah, pork's the other white meat.
There it is.
For anybody who remembers that.
The pork industry is very happy right now. That's right.
Okay.
We're going to hashtag them when we put this on YouTube. The
pork industry.
See if we can get some support.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. All right. So that's the thing. So let's go ahead and stop sharing this.
I was just thinking it would take you posting it for that to happen. It's fine.
All right. So 100% Viognier. This is a true expression of this grape. Let's dive in. It is one of two expressions. All right. So Viognier is served two ways or vinted two ways. One way, all stainless steel. One way with oak, active oak. This is the stainless steel method. So why one versus the other? The reason for this is to bring out the intrinsic qualities of the grape itself, that it's aromatic and that it is wonderful tropical and floral notes. That gets kind of buried with oak it doesn't make it unpleasant in any way, but it makes it a very different wine, which is closer to a highly oaked Chardonnay.
Okay.
So
right.
this one, this is the stainless steel expression. That is one of the reasons I wanted you guys to.
I was just going to ask that
Right,
because
yeah.
you really wanted us to taste what the grape itself tastes like rather than being influenced by the barrel.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
14.4% alcohol.
Oh my gosh, for a white?
Yep.
That didn't register at first. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, that's really high for a white. I don't think we've had another one that high. 14.
I'm not sure. It's right up near the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, and then Chris said some nice tropical fruits.
Oh, for sure.
Mhm.
Right. So you're talking about honeysuckle. It tends to be floral and tropical. We're going to go through a lot of different tropical fruits
Okay.
and a lot of different, you know, some nice floral characteristics in there. So age worthy, right? So I was talking about this is we're beginning to you know, as a group, smell and taste. You guys are building up your comments.
Okay, well, I do want to pause you just a moment because I saw that Linda and Paul had a heart reaction on there. Okay, definitely some stone fruit, I think. I don't know if they meant to do the heart reaction. I don't know if it was for the wine or for us. Oh, for God.
The high alcohol content.
Oh,
It doesn't taste like it. Doesn't taste like it.
No,
right.
This can sneak up on you.
Oh,
really
sure.
quick.
Right. And I love the stone fruit, right? So peaches and peach blossom, very common character descriptors for this wine. So in addition,
I also feel like maybe star fruit.
I love the star fruit.
Okay.
Yes, because of the acid. So you've got tropical notes with acid, which is for me, when you get pineapple meets apple, that kind of thing, that's where it goes to star fruit. Okay. Right. And it's not commonly used, but it's one of my favorite descriptors for that transition point. Okay. Right. So age worthy on this guy. It has high alcohol. It has acid, right? It's a white. So usually not as much, but what do white need? White wines usually need high acid in order to do it. This has solid acid. It has nice alcohol, which is better than, like, say, Rieslings are normally the white that can age, right? Right. Other than sparklers. So you'd be like, what is the deal here? In the end, not so much, not really meant for aging, unless you really like those flavors of mellowing out and becoming butterscotchy. Okay. It's really meant because what will happen with this wine, and this is an exception, right, to the rule, in that because of all the aromatics and the big, you know, jumping out of the glass, that all gets lost within the first 4 to 5 years. Oh, okay. So the winemaker says, oh, within 3, but honestly, 3 to 5 makes sense, but not so much. Vintage? This is 2019 and it is the current vintage. Okay. So we're right at 3 years, right? Okay. You know, when they said, okay, drink it within this time. Okay. So we are there. I would say, you know, this guy's still lively. I'm not concerned about another year, 18 months on this, you know, this wine. But to put another 6 or 7, 5 on here, it will be a very different wine. It will still be tasty. Yeah, you served something to me at the store the other day that was way too old for. We aren't selling it. You just poured it to mess with me. I did. Did not appreciate that. Well, you know, sometimes I got to mess with you. I actually had during a wine tasting today with a rep, we had a bottle that had been compromised and it was over oxidized and it was just, yeah, it was not good. So it was a red? It was a red. Yeah. And it was not good. It was all dates and prunes and it wasn't took a sip and spit it in his face and said, why would you serve me this? No. No, not quite. I smelled it, slammed it down, slid the bottle toward her. Okay. And said, how dare you? You know, because. Okay, so I know who this was because you could say that to her and it'd be fine. Right. Yeah. Right. Do you want me to share? Sorry, I was enjoying for a moment. Okay. All right, so we talked about the next thing is going to be the bottle. So why don't we finish talking about pineapple, papaya, lemon. There is a nice tartness, right? Apricot, honeysuckle. You're going nose, you're going palate. You can do the same things. So that talks to us of New World, right? It's Californian, makes sense. I like this one, candied citrus peel. And honestly, we should find those. They tend to come out during the holidays and pick some more up. I encourage everyone to try candied citrus peel. I've done it and it does show up in wine, not irregularly. I drank it in a red wine today.
Really?
From Northern Italy.
Okay, I'll try that one. And then we do have a comment from Chris Montrell. We've been to Minor Family twice. Beautiful winery. This reminds me of their unoaked, unfiltered Chardonnay with the addition of the tropical and stone fruit, plus higher acidity.
Right. And great call, Chris, on that, because Viognier can easily remind you of Chardonnay, right? There's always like, yeah, it's kind of like Chardonnay, but, right? Because it has a similar body, it had a similar weight.
Okay.
So the weight on the palate, the heaviness and the rich body of this wine is very similar, but the flavors, the aromatics with all the additional,
Like the
tropical notes and the floral is not.
Okay.
So when they use this wine normally as a part of a white blend, they use this part. The reason it comes in is to add body and aromatic lift.
Okay.
Right. So that, and so it's nice when you're drinking it alone, you say, oh, what are these things that are really standing out?
Right.
That make it a little bit unique. It's got big body, big aromatic lift. That's what it's all about. There we go.
And I guess it adds some alcohol content to it as well.
I certainly can, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Tannins, none. Like I say, nice acid, nice finish.
Right.
It's a food wine because it's got a lot going on.
Okay.
So what I like about this is it can play with spicy foods, whether you're dealing with a fish taco, you know, or the
like
the food pairings where we talked
spices
about.
that we talked about, Asian and Indian spice food that we talked about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good option for things like, you know, I talk about Riesling with some of the Asian cuisine, right? But this could go as well, without any of the residual sugar. I like the Riesling for having a little residual sugar with the Asian cuisine, but you can do it without, and this guy is a good option for that. For this beautiful lady, either way. All right. To the slide.
Share.
Please.
So I don't know if they meant for the for this symbol here to look military, but to me it looks military, I guess, because the wings remind me of like the Air Force. And it looks like a military emblem to me.
Fair enough. I do not have any information on that. So.
All right.
But so let's say I walk into the store. I want to buy a white wine. I'm not in Tipple, so I'm not getting any help, right? So what am I seeing here? So Minor is the maker, Viognier. Okay. So Viognier, that's going to be a big touch and go moment, right? Do I know Viognier? Am I looking for Viognier? Right. So that's probably the biggest touch and go moment. Most people, if they really aren't familiar with the wine, are probably not going to grab a Viognier anyway.
Right.
So at this point, we're talking about a wine for restaurants and smaller stores for hand set.
Sure.
Like that moment right there kind of throws the rest of the conversation into perspective.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they are doing a single varietal Viognier in the United States at all, because I don't recognize it as being a single varietal grape at all. I would think like it's going to be skipped over a lot in a store, unless you're like in a smaller store,
right,
like we have, or at a restaurant where you have a waiter or somebody suggesting it to you.
So that's where you get those wonderful wineries, right, that I love to feature, where they make those choices, right, because they want that wine to be in the market.
Right.
If not, you know, if it is to be, it's up to me, right? So they jumped in and they did choose to do it. And this is from Paso, right? These guys are from Napa. They found where they could get Viognier. So he obviously fell in love with it, wanted to make it happen, found where it could be grown the best, really, the best option. So, but that's what we all know now.
So they needed like a warmer climate there, or?
Part of it is the warmer climate. Part of it is, frankly, economics.
Oh.
All right. So we'll talk about this, but we can talk about it now. When I repeat it, don't hold it against me. All right. So part of it is economics. Viognier is a low production per acre grape.
Okay.
Napa's too expensive,
Okay.
right? You need to get the maximum amount of grapes per acre.
Right.
So Paso makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
High quality growing, lots of variation in where you can grow it with temperatures. You can find just the right sub-zone temperature wise. And it's more affordable than Napa.
Okay.
So on the back gives a really nice discussion about the aromatic qualities and what you can expect from the wine. So if you aren't familiar with Viognier and you are feeling a little adventurous, it really does kind of answer a lot of the discussion, a lot of the questions you might have. What's a Viognier? What can I expect out of this white wine?
Yeah, that's
on
nice.
The back. So I do appreciate that very much. You know, honestly, I looked all over, and I could not find the ABV on here.
On the bottle?
On the bottle. It's not required. So, but usually it's there.
I would think if you had a 14.4% ABV white, though, people are going to like that.
Yeah,
so you should probably.
Yeah, I honestly, I looked everywhere. You guys can tell me if I missed it. I looked all around in this bottle. I could not find the ABV, which was that was a little surprising.
So this does say produced and bottled by the Minor family.
So it is produced and bottles. They control this area, right? So it is. So they control the production 100% on how this is done. So produced and bottled by them. Even though they might be buying the grapes from Paso, they are controlling how they're grown. They're grabbing them. They're definitely making this wine. This is their wine in the expression they want to make. And their winemakers' expression of Viognier, this is it. So I can get behind that. All right. Next one, please.
All right. Oh, wait, Chris and Robin have a raised hand.
Yes. So my young eyes, I found the ABV.
Thank you, Robin.
Okay. I'm just making rude gestures to you in my mind, but I
won't. To be fair, I actually have terrible eyesight. So don't think that my eyes are good. Don't. Yeah. But right here on like the side, I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing, but it's like perpendicular to the minor, and it's in very tiny font.
Perpendicular to them. Oh, it's right there.
Oh, there it is.
This is like some Da Vinci Code stuff here.
Wow.
Yeah, it was hiding in the dashed line around the label.
Thank you, Robin.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. No, and honestly, when I said that, right, so I am very used to
interrupt you just a moment. In 2 years, when Robin turns 30, we're all getting her like over the hill things and everything. Yeah.
So, honestly, when I said that it's not required to be on the label, that was more of a beer side of the house statement.
Oh, okay.
I'm not quite sure about labeling on the wine side now that I think about that one aspect.
Right.
Because I don't make wine, right? So I'm just more of a study of wine. I'm not sure if it has to be on there or not. Now that I said, you know, like full disclosure,
right?
It's a minor thing. I know it's not required on beer.
It's a minor thing.
Right. So I don't know if there's a difference on the beer versus wine on that. Normally, the fermented beverages market is about the same.
Right.
So I said that. I may have been wrong. I may not have been wrong. I would have to do a little extra research on that. On the beer, you're not required to. So anyway, all right. Let's do the next slide, please. All right, Viognier. Viognier is the pronunciation. It is from
not Viognier.
Yeah, it's Viognier.
Yeah,
that's right.
Viognier.
So it is Viognier. Viognier, which is, by the way, that is the password.
Viognier.
Yeah. Because I make that joke all the time in the store. So that's right. So highly aromatic in qualities, higher alcohol, heavy bodied, rich flavors, make it all desirable, right? But why do we not see more Viognier? Because
why do we not see more Viognier, Jeff?
Oh, thank you for asking, Elizabeth. I'm glad you're interested. All right. Low yields. It's probably the number one thing, which I said. So you're making less money per acre versus other grape varietals that could be in the area, right? The other thing is it has a finicky behavior with its volatile aromatics. So when you oak age it, it tends to lose a lot of what makes it Viognier and tastes like Chardonnay.
Okay.
And after you've
So
already...
What's the point? You can have higher yield with Chardonnay grapes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So you have to be really careful when you oak this in order to keep those and make it, have it own itself as oaked Viognier. Oaked Viognier is a very difficult thing to do. It requires...
That's why this one's stainless steel and yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I still appreciate that because it allows me to really taste what's going on with Viognier. Plus, if something's going to be in anywhere close to Chardonnay, this group as a whole has appreciated the non-oaked, the unoaked version more, right?
Yes, this group as a whole and Elizabeth. Yeah.
So because Viognier can also demonstrate much more of the minerality in the soil and that kind of thing without the oak. It will quickly cover it up.
Okay.
Right. So the other thing, so Viognier requires a long, warm growing season, but not a hot growing season. Another issue with Viognier.
Okay.
So I would guess once we get to Paso, we'll look that it's valley floor closer to the west coast.
Sure.
Where it cools down a little bit more. The fog keeps it from getting quite as hot. Because if it gets over hot, then it becomes like Chardonnay, overly ripe and uninteresting.
Okay.
And it can clearly get ripe because we're talking about 14.4%.
Sure.
So there's plenty of sugar developed in here. It can clearly ripen readily, but you have to do it in such a way that it has a long time to gain character on, on the vine. So next one, please.
All right.
So tangerine, peach, mango, honeysuckle, roses. All right. We weren't really talking about roses, but definitely
you said floral.
Floral. I would go more gardenia on this guy. If I were to go, I would want to go white floral.
Yeah, I was picturing white flowers, not. Although, I mean, roses come in white, but.
So fruitiness, high. Body, the medium, I go medium plus. Sweetness is medium. I'm going, this is a dry wine. This is medium low. But this is kind of an average. Acidity, full on medium. I'd go a point above on this guy, which I appreciate. This is, by the way, a really high level expression, God bless you, of Viognier. This is a much higher quality Viognier than many that you would get out there. Not that they're bad, but they're not going to be at this level. But that's what this group is all about, right? And alcohol, you're talking about medium high, that makes total sense. So next slide, please.
So I'm not getting mango from this. It's just definitely tropical fruits. So maybe like papaya.
I think papaya is a good call. That's what I wrote down. But that tropical family, anywhere you're in there, is reasonable.
Yeah.
All right. Where is it grown? France, largely. It comes from France. We come from France.
What's that from?
That's SNL, the aliens.
Where is that from?
What'd you say?
Oh, Elizabeth, I am upset.
Is it the Coneheads?
It's the Coneheads.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Sorry, Paul.
Oddly enough, fried chicken and rolls are not one of the pairings on this one.
Is that what one of the?
That's what they describe fried eggs as. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So largely France. The grape originates in southern France, but then Australia, the United States, Italy, South Africa. The reason it is in there is usually as a blending grape. So it is fun to grab something from the US as a single varietal. And for that reason that I mentioned, it adds body. And that's what they use it in France for too. It adds body and then also aromatics. Now there is one region in Northern Rhone Valley that does have 100% Viognier.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes. All right. So here we have, origin story is down here, and this is where it's used. in the rune. And then, but this is the origin and, the country of origin. All right. So we're talking about it's not so much with white wine, white grapes, as much about the skin as it is. So we're dealing with plenty of sugar being created in the intermediate zone, some nice acid being left over. And then I think a lot of the flavors and that kind of thicker viscous side of it coming from the peripheral zone, but underneath the skin.
Is that what gives it like its weight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So it definitely has, and part of the weight is the alcohol.
Okay.
So it's the two. Next, please.
I'm sorry. The higher alcohol content gives it more body.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I did not realize that. I don't think you've mentioned that before.
Oh, I may not have.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where people are talking about legs and like, oh, the higher alcohol content.
Yeah, but I thought legs like it's like junk science now.
It is not used as much. It really isn't, because overall people are not interested in whether it has high alcohol, and like that's not a benefit, right? They're considering all of the other quantities.
It's high alcohol. I disagree.
When assessing a wine, right, officially for ratings, right, alcohol content is neither plus nor minus.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, thank you, Dave. I just saw his comment. He said, Paul evidently said, love you, Elizabeth, but know your SNL,
right.
Which I do for the most part, but she's not old enough to know that, Paul. I don't know how Paul knows that, because the Coneheads were like from the early 80s.
Maybe even like 70s. Right.
Yeah, which I was just sneaking SNL to see it in the late 70s. I wasn't really allowed to watch it.
That's true.
Do you want to?
All right. So where are we? Right. Yep. We're in the middle of the northern growing latitude on the far west.
Get to where it belongs.
You can do it. You know where we are. It's California. Everyone. Right. All right. So here we are, like right in the middle again here. Let's jump in. All right. So once again, so I'm like, oh, okay, here we are. We are actually up in the northern part of California.
Okay.
And we're getting to Paso right here. So right, you've got San Fran and everything up here. So it's just the middle of the middle of the middle.
Okay.
Right. And you're inland a little on the inside of the mountain. So you're in the middle that way as well. So it's the middle. They honestly could have renamed this place Paso Robles. Paso Robles means pass of the oak trees.
Okay.
Right. The Wild West of California winemaking has many different temperatures, many different soils. They're growing hundreds of different grapes in this area. And it is moving very quickly from an origin of basically volume wine growing to quality wine growing, and then breaking down into subsets of lots of different grapes, and being such an amazing area to be able to play around with those. So the town of Paso Robles, which is at the core, was founded by Drury James, the uncle of Frank and Jesse James.
And my cousin.
There you go. And your cousin.
Told you that.
That's right. Clearly, anyone with the last name of James is related to Jesse James because it's cool. Right.
Yep.
Like the Jesse James, like no jokes.
Yeah, he wants to know if it's actually related to the Jesse.
So not Elizabeth, but Drury. Yeah.
Right.
But so Drury was you said the uncle?
He was the uncle of Jesse James.
Oh, that's wild.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So that was that time. It's California's fastest growing American viticultural area, AVA. Since 2000, it's grown from 50 to 200 wineries.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that last week.
Well, last week was Paso. So
yeah,
that's all right. Commonality of fruit, right? Because I talk about all the differences going on. Tends to be opulent, fruit driven, because they do all get the ability to ripen over time. So you get kind of the best of, unless you're just putting the wrong grape in the wrong area,
Okay.
right? You can get the best of what you need there.
So when you say to ripen over time, they get long hang time there.
Long hang time, long growing season without too much rain, without rain late in the season.
Mhm.
It's very much warm, but if you need to go warm with cooling off quickly to prevent over ripening too soon, you move toward the west side of the valley. If you want, just flat out, very big, warm, which is what made the valley originally, which is why you can get tremendously large crops of grapes, valley floor.
Okay.
So lots of warm. And then once again, you can go to the far side, to the eastern side, you end up with very warm days. You get cooling very quickly at night because of the Sierra Nevadas. You get the cool air blowing down, but you don't get the moisture all over your grapes. So
Okay.
if you want something that will be a little more moisture deprived, there's something for you.
Okay.
So, there's a lot going on.
Everything.
There
you go, Paul.
There is another SNL reference. Hashtag SNL on this episode.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So the heat in the growing season can up on the valley floor up to 105 degrees during the day, but then it drops to 40 to 50 degrees at night.
Oh my gosh, that is a tremendous drop.
It is. And it will take that ripening and stop it. You stop it right now.
So I would be
wait till tomorrow.
happy during the day because it's a dry heat. So 105 doesn't feel like our 105.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And then at night, you could walk the dog by yourself.
Beautiful. I mean, I don't want to walk the dog by myself. I'm just saying the temperature would be wonderful. But...
Be beautiful. Sure. It would be beautiful. I could get a break from my wife.
All right. First crop of wine ever planted in Paso was which grape varietal? Chris.
Chris Mantra or
any Chris that wants to answer. All right. It's Zinfandel. All right.
Oh, the first one ever was it?
Yeah, the first crop ever planted.
The grape of the United States. It was
is.
Also the first in Paso.
The first in Paso.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
So, all right. Next
Ready?
one, please. So let's take a look at Paso. So this is on the eastern side, if I remember correctly. It looks a little hazy there, but
I think we mentioned this last week. It was on the eastern side because that's more like deserty looking.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because the other side is like obvious. Here we go.
It's
The next side.
verdant on the other
So
side.
the west side, here's the west side where you get the
you see
fogs from the Pacific Ocean come over and like, oh, look, the trees can get some water. They grow. Yeah.
On the other side, it's like,
Right. I love this actually. You know what? It's almost like somebody did a good job.
oh, just
going to say,
self-congratulations.
let's go back. Let's look at
Wow,
east side.
that's a good job.
Look, east side,
Uh-huh.
west side. Hey, somebody knows this stuff.
There you go.
All right. Next
Ready?
one, please. Yes. Minor family wines. All right. Founded in 1989 by Dave and Emily Minor. Dave began his career in the software industry and then took over Oakville Ranch Winery in Napa. For his uncle in 1993, his uncle became very sick.
Okay.
And so he needed somebody. Dave was a wine lover
Okay.
and said, okay, I will use my skills. Let's do this. And then just really found his niche and moved on from there.
So the uncle started in 89. And then Dave came
No,
in
no,
93?
No,
Sorry.
his uncle started it before because it was a different winery and it didn't do that research, right? So 98 is the minor family. So in 93, Dave started working in the wine
Oh, okay.
industry.
You said 89 at one point.
No, 98.
Okay.
All right, so
I'm sure you said 89, but that's fine.
all right, anyway. All right, so in 93, Dave Minor took over Oakville Ranch Winery.
Okay.
His uncle was sick. His family has been in the wine industry as long as he can remember,
Oh, wow.
which we will hear from Dave later on.
Okay.
All right. So, and by 1998, he'd been in the industry for a while. He wanted his own winery. So that's when he began Minor Family Wines.
Okay.
All right. So, he was married to, he and his wife started it in 1998. Emily began her career as the tasting room manager at Oakville Ranch Winery.
Okay.
Right,
That
so
was his
That was
family's wine.
that was the family winery, right?
Okay.
That was his uncle. So anyway, let's go to the next one, please. So there's a view of their holdings.
Gorgeous.
In 1996, Dave began his own label because he within Oakville Ranch Winery, they had a separate division that would crush and make wine for other people, and then your own winemaker would come in and so that's when he began in 96. In 97, Dave brought in his own winemaker for his own crushed grapes, right? So that was Gary Brookman, who's with him to this day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 97 till now. In 1999, because they had a couple of vintages in on the minor wines, they produced a 20,000 square foot cave system in the rocks of Napa that they dug down in and completed that in 1999, and that became the Minor Family Winery Caves cellaring area.
Okay.
And he also married Emily in 1999.
So that's where they age all their wine down there. Okay.
Down there.
20,000 square feet.
20,000 square feet.
That's crazy. So this is kind of like trying to replicate the European cellars.
Right.
Okay. All right. And then it's a restaurant down there?
You can go down and have a meal down there. Yeah, they do events down there. But it's also working. I mean, you can see the bottom of it.
Right,
So further in, it's a working area, but they do have, like, there's the entrance, which is a little bit like a grandiose hobbit hole.
So I'm wondering, Chris, did you get to eat down there? Montreux? Do you see the?
Got it. No, we didn't eat there. We did do the whole tour, and then they have a beautiful balcony that overlooks the valley floor, and our tasting was actually out there. So it was very nice, very pretty, but we did tour the caves.
Fantastic.
That's really cool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did not suck. Would you like?
I'm sure it did not suck at all. Yeah, absolutely. Would you like for me to advance?
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right. So this is the new tasting room.
So like up in here, or is it so new that?
This is from 2019. So I'm not sure if Chris was there then.
Okay.
If he was, then it's that balcony that we're seeing outside there.
Yeah, it's very pretty. Should I advance?
Yes, please.
Oh.
All right. So here comes.
Unable to play video.
4K. Why is that?
I don't know. I've never
had that happen before. All right.
This has never happened before.
It has not, actually.
No, it hasn't.
No.
Okay. Do you want to summarize what they said? Do you remember?
Honestly, why don't we jump to YouTube real quick and just look up the Minor Family wines?
Okay. All right.
Can you do that?
Yep. Hold on one moment, everybody.
Because that should have worked. It worked earlier.
Yep. Just bear with me a moment.
We're all good.
Right? Yeah.
Nobody's got anything better to do. Drinking wine, having fun. So put Minor Family Winery.
I'm just thinking about like podcast in progress.
Yeah, exactly.
Ignore our progress.
No, well, I was thinking like poor Elizabeth.
Oh, I know why.
If you click dismiss.
There we go. Okay, hold on one moment. Thank you, Linda, by the way, poor Elizabeth. Hold on a second. Let me grab this and I will screen share. Hold on.
I did it right. I swear.
Oh, I believe you, babe. It's the first time it's happened. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Well, I would say wine was always in the plan when it came to consuming wine. But I never imagined being in the wine business or, making wine for a living. I would say until my uncle got sick and I knew he was probably not going to make it. And the immediacy of that made me start thinking about, my own mortality and what I wanted to do. And did I really want to do things just to make money, or did I want to do something I loved? Growing grapes and making wine is something that my dad's family has done as far back as anyone knows. My dad's family is 100% Assyrian, and they immigrated to the US in the early 1900s from the Middle East. So my uncle bought a vineyard because he wanted to keep the tradition going. And he bought Oakville Ranch without really knowing anything about vineyards or wine.
From right around that first 4 or 5 months that I started working with Dave, it became obvious that we were on the same page as far as making wines that people were excited about. Dave wanted to make his own wine with his name on it. I told him I could do that.
So I came over anonymously on a Saturday just to the tasting room to try through all the wines. And I came out of there going, I want to learn how to make these wines. I want to work with this fruit, because it struck me how many different regions, grape growing regions, that wine are made fruit from.
Try to keep it simple. Try to just get people to enjoy what's in their glass, what's right in front of them, without worrying about a lot of the hyperbole that goes on with it.
We're able to capture benchmark vineyards, benchmark AVAs throughout California, and really kind of explain why those areas are so well known and why they shine.
That to me is the most important thing that we can do, is become a part of people's lives and give them great memories and that are joyous, or that make it easier to be a human being on this planet. There's nothing pretentious about wine, even though people try to make it that. It's just fermented grape juice that a bunch of people stumbled across thousands of years ago, and it made them feel good. And that's all it is. There's no secret knowledge. If you like it and you drink it and you have a great time, that's the only thing that matters, really.
I'm really glad you got this. That's what I wanted to think. I love his take on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love his take on it. That's I wanted him to say that. So
yeah, no, it's it's amazing to me that he said two things. One was, my family's been doing this for as long as I can remember.
Right.
And yet he wants it to be unpretentious, which is, it seems like a contradiction to me.
Oh.
Because you would think they've been doing it for so long that they would feel so much ownership over it, including him, that.
I can see that, but also they're like, hey, this is what we do. We make a tasty beverage. Everyone likes it. They get giggly.
It's just fermented grape juice. It makes you feel good.
It's giggly juice.
So, and then Chris said that they were at the minor. They were there from 2000. Sorry, I was going to say from. They were there in 2017 and 2015. So you said this one was brand new in 2019.
That was new in 19. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you clearly need to go back, Chris.
It's time. Nice. All right.
Would you like for me to share
more? Yes.
Okay.
I think it's that time to go to thanking our sources.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Okay. Hold on. Wait.
So
don't look at it yet. There we go.
There we go. And of course, now we'll start, but it won't. So
no, good. But it's actually not.
All right. So
this is before thanking the sources.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. So we have the guy rated in the outstanding area. Like I say every time, the
92.
Yeah. So outstanding is used a lot actually for very good wine. So honestly, like when taking it into account, and this is in no way like I'm not saying this is not an outstanding wine. What I'm saying is most things that you really enjoy and think are well made, they end up giving a 90, right? Which puts it in the outstanding category.
Right.
So keeping it in perspective, what the market kind of does, because if you were to say a wine is an 86, you would think, hey, that was a very good wine. I give that a good rating. But the market would say you gave it a bad. So keeping that in mind, and then taking in mind, did I enjoy the wine? Am I a white wine liker? So did I, lover? Did I just appreciate the wine? Is it good for what it is? Did it have some special qualities that stood out to me? All those things are the things that push you up toward higher numbers, right? Good for the price, all that kind of fun thing. So keeping that in mind.
No, what I would love to see, and I don't know that they've compiled this data at all, but I would love to see, like, of the wines that are submitted for rating, where do those scores fall?
Oh, I wish they would release that.
But I bet they won't.
No, they won't.
Right.
All because they're paid for the ratings. So
well, they're paid for the ratings, yes, but also if you think your wine is crap, you're not submitting it to be.
It would be
judged.
nice. It would be nice if every wine had to be submitted.
No, that would be great.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
And that way it could normalize the process, right? Like, okay, every single wine, if you're on sale in the United States, has to be submitted for this rating. And there are some name brands I could throw out there that would really not do well.
Right. No, they have to be submitted, and they have to be submitted blind.
Right.
You don't get to look at the name before you do it. Yeah.
Then we'd have to do
that. If you have, you have the Louis Vuitton name, it's probably going to get a really good, I'm just throwing out like a purse name, but yeah, because I'm not going to throw out a wine name, but then it's probably going to be rated really, really well.
Right.
But, right. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be the one that says X name that is an amazing name gets a bad rating that year. Right, exactly. But it would be interesting if, as part of the labeling process, you had to include, there had to be a rating, because I can think that would make some significant changes.
That might have some 50 somethings.
Yeah, it would.
There we go. Okay, so let's see. We have okay. Chris and Robin, 89, really like it. Went great with food.
Okay. Yep.
Paul paired it with spicy seafood soup from Hana, and this did it.
Like it.
Yeah, this did it for me. I say 91. Linda 88. And then Chris Montrell, how I normally score, I would say 91, but based on your explanation, I should probably go with an 89. And then we had, I want him to explain that in a moment. What's your, So we have blackened salmon, sweet potatoes, and how do you say that? Tagine seasoning with Brussels sprouts. Tagine. Thank you. Seasoning with Brussels sprouts. That sounds really good. Again, I have to say, we need to just crash at their house sometime. Just be like, hey, we're going to do the tasting.
It's 5 minutes. We're bringing Monty.
Right.
Cats away.
Exactly. Yeah, he'll just loom over them.
He won't do anything.
Yeah. 92, all three of them were Linda and Brenda.
With the Thai food.
So John's there. Paired well with Thai food. 90 from Rachel and 90 from David. Okay, I was expecting two different scores when I saw the R, but yeah. So I would do a 90 plus, like 90.5.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, and then
very cool one.
Chris, why your explanation changed his score.
Lower, right?
Right.
So, because normally we taste the wine, and if we really like it and we've enjoyed it, we say, wow, this is a 93. But in reality, based on that scoring and the way Jeff has explained it, really an 89 is very good.
Right.
And that's really where I probably should go, versus just saying, oh yeah, it's 93, because so anyway, that's what I was trying to say.
No, I get it. No, I do. I get it, because that's that difficulty, right? Where you're like, look, I want to say what my enjoyment level was with what the industry actually behaves like. There's Chris's 93. And I also want to express what, according to your actual written stats, what it actually was, which was a very good wine.
Yeah.
And I should be allowed to say an 89 without it being an insult. Right. So he's nailed it, which is the thing. An 89 is actually a 93. Right. That's the thing. Yeah. Because, and it's like, come on, but it is what it is, which is why I bring it up.
I mean, we've had an 88 rated wine in the WOW group before. Right. Yeah, and it's just an interesting thing. Like I said, I would love to see the data on that as to where it's Because I would think most of it probably falls 90 to 92.
Oh, it's an incredible cluster. You know, I was drinking some South American wine today they were both 90 pointers. You know, they'd sell for like $14 a bottle, which is fine. Nothing wrong with something jumping up with that. I'm not saying a $14 bottle can't, but it's amazing how many things are 90 pointed, right?
Right.
You know,
okay. So also when you say a $14 bottle, you're saying a retail $14 bottle, but in a restaurant, it would be 28.
In a restaurant, that would be 28, 30, 35. Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing because retail prices versus restaurant prices are very, very different.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You do have restaurant pricing out there.
Right. Right. So when you're calling a bottle of wine, which is why one of the reasons we try not to put the exact prices for what we carry it for. Right. Because a restaurant is going to sell it for a lot higher than we're
right. And I'm never looking to, to screw anyone over, to give them a problem about their pricing. That is not the point. Right. We have very fair pricing. Other people have their pricing for very good reasons. So yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, so hold on. Let's see. Oh, and let's see. Hold on. I thought because I had scrolled back up to see Chris's statement, and then I thought I missed some chat, but I did not.
Okay, good. Okay. Let's go back to the slides. We'll thank our sources.
All right. Here we go.
I'm going to tell you, there's a little bit. So on the weight of the body, now that it's had a little time to warm up. So part of that heaviness on there can be described as a waxy quality.
Okay.
And this is a good time to discuss that, where
hold on.
When you sip on this, give it a moment, run it around your palate. This is what, when they talk about a waxy quality to your wine, it's a heavy bodied, lingering feeling on the palate. This is waxy.
Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. Have we talked about waxing previously? Okay.
There's not often a lot of opportunity.
All right. And then we do have a question from Chris and Robbie.
Yes.
So that actually probably ties into what I was going to ask, which is I was like, no, keep going. But so I think it tastes really good, but the taste it leaves on my tongue is like a petrol or like a tire-y taste or something like that, which I don't know if anybody else gets, but it's so weird because it tastes good the entire time until I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this, until I don't have any wine left in my mouth.
Yeah, she's trying not to say it.
I don't know. To me, it finishes on herbs.
Okay.
Like, to me, it's like, it finishes on like a green, dried, herby quality. Yeah, I mean, as I'm really locking it in and chewed the wine.
I'm wondering if it's the food pairing that's causing different things to come out.
Yeah,
it could be. Yeah, because to me, I'm getting a tart, herby finish.
Okay.
Tarragon sage kind of a thing.
Okay.
Herb de Provence. If you don't know which herbs to say, just say herb de Provence. What are those? Oh, those flowers in the hills of Provence, because I'm that sophisticated.
I think the tarragon makes sense with that. I think that's a missing piece.
Okay.
How about this? Oh, wait, let me get real specific. You guys are going to love this. Bay leaf.
Really?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
It's got a little of that.
Okay. I could do some bay leaf. For me, it's because bay leaf I associate so much with black beans, Cuban black beans, that it's hard for me to separate the two. But yeah.
Very nice. All right.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Thank our sources now. There are a lot of them.
There's a lot of sources. Wine Folly, always. They get the headliner. Amazing place. And they actually have wine classes now too.
Really?
Yeah.
We think 750 every week as well, and Wikipedia.
And 750 and Wikipedia. It's almost always going to be utilized, right? When Wikipedia isn't, I just might as well be up there because it's every other time, So wine.com, Food and Wine Magazine, Afar Magazine, Ocean Drive Magazine, PR Paso Robles, Decanter, TripAdvisor. A lot of these are pictures. Napa Valley Life and Napa Wine Project.
What were those? Because we weren't.
Those were the pictures. Well, because the wineries in Napa.
Oh.
So they were pictures of minor wineries.
Okay. All right. So the next one is the reveal.
Next one is the reveal. So next week we had a white, back to red.
All right.
Heading to, right?
Do you know where we're heading?
Yeah, I'm going. I got it right. We're returning to one of my favorite locations, Mendoza, Argentina. A big red blend cocodrilo.
So when I first looked at it, I thought it said crocodile.
Yeah.
You know, because it,
Right. Which it means crocodile.
Brain, like,
yeah.
Does it mean?
It means crocodile.
Oh, even though it's cocoa, not
yeah.
crocodile.
Cocodrilo means crocodile.
Okay.
There are some Spanish communities that use it for alligator.
Oh.
But
do they have
South America? But they don't. Which is why a lot of them. But in South America, it's Caimane, right? Cayman.
Right, it's caimans. Yeah.
So Cayman and alligators are the same thing. So
are they actually the same thing?
They're close enough.
Smaller, aren't they?
No, they get really big.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Cayman and alligator. So there's Caimane, there's Cocodrilo. Some of the areas don't differentiate because they don't have either one. Okay. So it's a bit of a back and forth, but it's an alligator one.
All right, cool.
So big Argentinian red blend is all we really are worried about, right?
I'm so disappointed that alligator is not one of the food it's on here, but it's a red. So I guess that'd be more like chicken, right?
Honestly, it's a robust white meat. It would be more maybe, yeah.
But no,
I could find a pairing for it.
Eat alligator.
That's right. So beef tenderloin with blue cheese topping, braised lamb with fennel and orange, and turmeric roasted mushrooms with beets.
That sounds really good.
Right?
Yeah.
Why not? Cocodrilo. I really actually have liked this wine a long time. I'm excited to finally bring it into the store and have it. So
me too. Okay, 93 and 90.
Yes, and it is from one of those super import groups that are worth memorizing.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So it's another one of those. So we'll reinforce that name next week.
Okay.
And get started on that.
So I'm just, when we turn the bottle over and we look at the back label, when we look at the importer, we need to write that importer down.
That is one of the ones worth memorizing.
Okay.
It really is.
All right.
Great group.
All right.
So, all right.
Wait, before we cheers, any questions, comments, any last? Nope.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you all for coming and drinking.
Cheers.
Cheers.